So we are live. I'm going to give you a update as to what's going on here in Pierce County right now, as of May 2024. So we're seeing some good things in the real estate market locally here in the South Sound. So I'm going to specifically focus on Pierce County because Pierce County is a pretty good indicator of what's going on, generally speaking, around the whole South Sound area. So let's dive right in. So if we look at the median sale price wrapping up last month, April, we ended at, call it 550,000. So you could see we're kind of sticking around that 525 mark pretty consistently. A little bit of blips. Each of these represents 1 month, by the way, and we jumped up to 550 last month. So that represents an 8% increase in home values here locally since the same time last year. So we are seeing appreciation take place right now. When we look at median days on market, median percent of the last list price, we're seeing it's still at 100%. So even though it looks like it's down at the bottom here, the bottom in this graph actually represents people getting 100% of their list price. We were seeing crazy bidding wars here, whereas they're getting 105, 100, almost 106% of their list price. Now it's staying pretty consistent with median list price. Now, keep in mind, I always like to point this out, that doesn't just mean that you can ask whatever the heck you want and you're going to get 100% of your asking price. Note this right here of last list price. So we do see price reductions in this market, and it's something sellers still need to be cognizant of throughout, of making sure that they're pricing their home appropriately, because if their house isn't priced appropriately to the market's not going to bite, and you will have to reduce your price and go from there. And it ultimately ends up costing sellers more when they overprice and then have to come down on their price over time. As we like to say, days on market is the enemy of a seller's equity. So let's look at that, by the way. So we're looking right now, median days on market. It dropped this last month down to 7 days on the market. Last month, we were up around 27 days. And so very fast market right now. And so buyers need to be, if you're a buyer, need to be aware if you see something that you like, and we're going to get into that, we are seeing more options, which is really good news. It's important to be able to be equipped and ready to take fast action. So what does that mean exactly? Well, one would be making sure you've got your financing in order. If you're going to be getting a home loan, connect with your local realtor or lender. Here at the Hauer Home Team, we're happy to get you connected with a good, trustworthy lender that can explore options with you as to what's available for options to be able to get into either a first home or that next home. And if you're like a lot of homeowners, it can be scary and intimidating to think, how am I going to make the leap from buying the next house? And do I sell my house first and then feel like I might be homeless, or do I buy the house and then sell? And can I even afford to do that? Have 2 payments, things like that. So I want to encourage you, there is absolutely ways to make it simplified and make it less stressful than it needs to be. So reach out and we can talk to you about different ways to approach that, to have a plan in place there. When we look at number of pending sales, the number of pending sales is up 15% since this time last year. So we're seeing people actually, buyer and seller, coming together under contract. It hasn't officially closed yet, but activity taking place in the market has increased by 15% in April. Now, number of homes for sale. This is really good news, especially for our buyers. Homes for sale, increased inventory is up 42% since this same time last month. Number of homes that actually closed and sold in the month of April has increased by 4%. So the red graph here is a 5-year history of available homes for sale. And so you can see we saw uptick there. Green is homes that are actually closed in that month. So when we look at impact of monthly housing inventory on home prices, we look at what we call the absorption rate, which is really just a fancy way of saying the supply and demand. So we can see less than 6 months worth of inventory represents the seller's market. 6 to 7 months of inventory represents a neutral market. Home values just kind of go along with inflation. And then if there's more than 7 months of inventory, that's what we call a buyer's market, where we see home prices start declining. So where do you think we are right now? Well, in the South Sound, Pierce County specifically, we're at 1.5 months. So we saw a little bit of an increase in inventory, still very, very low inventory. And as you can see over the last 5 years here, as we talk about this each month, we have been in a seller's market very clearly, even at the high point of being about 2.3 months of inventory. That is still very much so a seller's market. If we go back to this graph, less than 6 months represents a seller's market. All right. So if you are considering wanting to sell your house and not sure what steps to take and just want to get more educated, reach out. On a regular basis, we've been doing some home seller workshops where we talk about what to do to prep your house, as well as what not to do so you're not spending more money than you should, and you maximize the time, energy, and money that you put into prepping your home for the market. And additionally, we can talk about, what does staging look like? Is it worthwhile? What are the things to expect, the costs and expenses to plan for when it comes to selling a property, from tax standpoint, commissions, you name it. All right, so what about interest rates? That's a very important thing to look at. So for interest rates, right now we have seen they've increased. The same time last month during the monthly market update, we were at 7% even. Right now we're at 7.22% is the average 30-year loan. So slight increase there. Where interest rates going, nobody knows. The popular guess estimate was that interest rates were going to be coming down, and that they would have done so by about this time. They're certainly down from the 8% that they were within the last couple months. So that's nice to see. And now with the Fed's meeting, we're seeing it's not as optimistic that, yeah, rates are definitely coming down sooner than later. We will find out. It's looking like in September that looks like about a 60% chance that the Fed will be lowering interest rates at that point. But there's a lot of things that are going to come into play with that within the economy for them to gather that information and make an educated decision as to, are they going to hold steady where they are? Are they going to drop them lower? It's not looking like they will likely increase them, but again, that could change. All of this changes by the day. So what does that mean for monthly payment? If we look at the median sold price in Pierce County, which, as we just discussed, as of this last month is $550,000, and figure that the going interest rate right now is 7.22%. That, if you were to put 20% down, this is your monthly payment, $2,922 per month. That's principal and interest only. So that represents an increase from last month of $208 a month higher than it was last month, because values weren't as high and the interest rate wasn't as high. So if you are, whether you're a first-time buyer or a repeat buyer, something to be aware of if you're feeling like, gosh, I just don't feel like I can save as quickly as home values are going up and all of this is taking place. I want to encourage you and let you know there are resources available. So reach out and we can get you connected with lots of different options, depending on the area you're in, depending on your income, depending on if you're a first-time home buyer or a repeat buyer. There's lots of different things to look into for that, but there are down payment assistance programs that are available. There's also all sorts of different things. If you're a veteran, that's a great loan to take advantage of your VA loan and zero down option. Definitely, I highly recommend, if you have VA benefits, take advantage of home ownership, because that is a huge advantage to be able to take advantage of that, and you've earned the right to do so. This is really interesting to see, awesome to see actually. 2023, and this is nationally, 40% of purchases were made by first-time home buyers. That is the highest in history. So I love to see that, because I think that speaks highly to the value of home ownership and the wealth that these first-time home buyers will now be able to start building, rather than getting kind of left behind, if you will, as we know real estate just continues to go up over time. I always like to say that the best time to buy a home is the same best time to buy a tree, which was, well, 20, or to plant a tree, not buy a tree, which was 20 years ago. Next best time is today. This just shows you the graph of rent, building your wealth through owning a home. This is historical. If we go back to 1988, what rent has done over time, it's pretty clear that rent is only going to continue to rise. So if you can get into a home and get your housing costs locked in at a firm rate that isn't going to go up over time, you're going to be better off in the long term, no doubt. All right. So feel free to reach out to any one of us here at the Hauer Home Team. We are professional realtors here to be of service to you in the greater South Sound, and we can help you in areas outside of that as well, and have some great connections all across the country, whether it's Arizona, California, Montana, Florida, you name it. We're here for you. So hope this was helpful for you, and we'll talk to you later.